Have you ever felt like love is out of reach until you're completely healed? That every wound, every scar, every shadow has to be completely gone. You have to be some saint or some angel before you can experience real love. But what if I told you that that belief system is the biggest part that's keeping you stuck in an obsession that you have to be perfect before you can experience real love? Today, I'm going to show you why you don't have to be fully healed to be loved, and how your own obsession with the twin flame journey can actually become your greatest gift in your own healing journey. In case we haven't met, my name is Dr. Harmony, and if you're new to my channel, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. Make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you know when all my videos and content come live. So how do I know that you don't have to be perfect in order to experience real love? Because I have been on this journey consciously for the last 10 years, going through all of the obsessions and all of the separations and all of the shadow work and the darkness, and what a whirlwind, right? You never know when the rug's about to get pulled out from under you. Not to mention, I've also spent countless hours and nights wondering, when am I going to finally be enough to get off this rat race and get off the wheel here that's keeping me stuck in something that I have to continue to work on me before I can have the true love. And it's kind of like this Russian doll that, layer after layer after layer, and rinse, repeat, and do it all over again. And I know I'm not alone here, because I hear people talking all the time. Clients are always telling me, when am I going to finally reach the finish line of this healing work where I'm worthy of the love that I want? And something I discovered along the way in my own journey was love isn't waiting for you to be perfect. Love meets you right in the middle of the chaos, right in the middle of the pain, exactly wherever you are. And most of the time, it's allowing the love itself to help you finish the healing work, and a perception that you can heal this from a place of love, not pain. So we find ourselves trapped in this obsessive thinking and these obsessive patterns, and wondering, when is it ever going to complete? And most importantly, to know that our journey is not a destination, it's the journey that counts along the way. But for me, I found everything in my life always revolved around some destination, thinking that whenever I would be finished with something, that everything would be great. Or let me, get my children raised, or let me have the perfect job, or, let me have a perfect relationship, or let me have enough money. And then everything's going to be great. And also for me, there was a time when I was so consumed with healing work that I felt like I was chasing a moving target, and that carrot on a stick, that not even just chasing the twin flame, but chasing the idea of, when am I going to be done with this, and how much more healing do I need to do? And kind of like basically what my focus was is expanding more of what I didn't want. And so it's so important to move that focus into more of what you want versus not what you don't want, because that's part of what's recreating the cycle over and over. And there are the laws of the universe, of laws of rhythm, of high tide, low tide, and knowing that it's not always going to be some happy moment in our life, and that we have to experience, the shadows, or we have to experience the pain. We have to allow ourselves, from an emotional intelligence standpoint, go into the feelings of this sense of emotion that has been suppressed. And sometimes it takes the experience to wake up that emotion so we can recreate it, to feel it again. But then every breakthrough just led to another wound underneath, for me and most of the people I've worked with. And so that does raise the question, when will I finally be healed enough to deserve love? I've heard that so many times. But for me, one of the things I discovered was that the answer that kept coming very clear over and over again was, you don't have to wait. Healing is a lifelong journey, and waiting until you're done only delays the love that's meant for you right here, right now. And sometimes that's the love for yourself, so you can have it with a person. So the first point you need to think about in how you're going to reprogram this and repattern this is to release the myth of perfection. So that means you need a new program, and to know and start to believe you do not have to be flawless to be loved. And the idea that you must be completely healed before you're worthy of love is one of the most harmful myths out there that we have adopted as spiritual beings. So know that real love doesn't require this perfection. It requires presence. It requires allowing. It requires you to be still. It requires you to accept yourself, to accept the wounds, accept the pain, accept the separation. And to know that in the process of those things, they're mirroring for you the pieces of yourself that are just trying to come forth to expand upon. And when you can actually find the love for those emotions that you have around those things, that is then truly the love of that will actually be part of what heals that. And you'll start to dissolve the pieces that keep showing up, that keep showing you scar after scar, trigger after trigger. And this is going to allow you to love yourself in this process that will then be in acceptance of thinking that you don't have to be perfect enough because somebody else can love you the way you are, right here, right now. So the second thing you can do in order to shift this consciousness or this perception that you have to be perfect before real love is to know that the obsession that you have around this twin flame journey, that you can use that as a teacher. I've worked with clients over and over for many years that in their mindset, they're so OCD and they can't stop thinking about them. And that's a valid point because it does create a monkey mind. And what it's doing is it's activating you in such a way that's giving you a taste of something that's waking up inside of you, that they're just the catalyst helping wake up inside of you. So what you're really craving is not so much them, it's the energy they're waking up inside of you. And then when they go away and then you don't feel that fix, then it puts you in this state of like, oh, I need them to have this, which creates part of the obsession that gets the mind constantly focusing on what you did wrong, that you didn't do something right in their presence, and so you were the cause of them running away, and that you should have done something better. Or you're so focused on the future, and what the future tripping is that, you're always seeing yourself living together and married, and how your children are going to fit in, and like all these things before you got past how you're going to operate in everyday life together, and if you're even compatible, or if you have the same true values, and all of these things. So the obsession around all of this really just places you in this sense of grasping. And that's because you're afraid still. You're putting a sense of, I won't find this love again. And you're also still craving some acceptance in the process of this, that I have to perform a certain way when I'm around them, or I'm not good enough because they're leaving, they're ghosting me, and what am I doing wrong? So it's programming you've done something wrong. But instead of fighting all of this and trying, because the more you try not to obsess, the more obsessed you become. So what can really help you is asking the question of, what is this obsession showing me about myself? This is all about me, not them. They're just mirroring me, and they're showing up in a way to bring up in me and activate me the parts of me that have not come to light, either in a shadow or in a sense of an activation of a part of me that needs to be expressed more fully, and maybe even accepted more fully, and definitely loved more fully. So the way you can stop the obsession is when you stop seeing the obsession as the enemy, it becomes a powerful teacher that points you back to your own alignment and getting centered with yourself. So the third point is, how can you stay in alignment over trying to fix everything? And a piece of that is to try to stop fixing yourself and try to stop thinking you have another layer to unfold, that you've got to dig deeper, and I got to heal more before I can have more. Or the healing has to take place, as I've mentioned, just the belief that it has to take place before you can have something to do it. And I think we get obsessed with the healing. It becomes a checklist, and we have to check it all off. And we block ourselves then from seeing and accepting ourselves for who we are, where we are in this now. Instead, you really have to come into, it's the journey, not the destination, as I've mentioned, that this is an unfolding process. Until you're not on this planet anymore, you will be going through trials and tribulations to help you grow. It's the soul growth that we sign up for as part of the journey. And one of the things that truly shifts your vibration is alignment. So when you align with the truth that you're already whole, you're already worthy, and you're already loved, and you already are love, everything changes. And you have to know that that is not just a thought. You have to own that, and you have to feel that, and you have to come into the feeling of it, that you truly are in acceptance of who you are here and now. But when you do, you begin to attract the love that you desire. And you attract the love not because you've fixed everything, but because you've really remembered who you truly are at the core, and that you're worthy of this, and that you come into an empowerment and give yourself grace and come at this from a place of truly just wanting to nurture yourself and to go back into that inner child and to be the one to nurture and hold space for that child that potentially along the way was programmed that you're not worthy enough, but you truly are. And you have to go back to those places sometimes where you took on and adopted these ideas to reprogram them. So maybe look at where was your inner child not feeling worthy enough, and go back to that space and connect with that inner child and nurture that inner child and truly embody and embrace that inner child, and to know that that child is perfect the way they are. That makes you perfect the way you are. So the fourth point that's so important but also so simple that we almost overlook this is that small steps shift the energy. It's not some big kaboom. It's not some big breakthrough. It's not some big aha or total awareness. But if we can take a daily practice, and that can be big shifts over time, but also more sustainable, and building a foundation that we trust the process as we're navigating it, rather than shutting down or rather than judging ourselves for not being able to keep up with all of the chaos that we're constantly going through, because it's exhausting going through all this shadow work over and over and over and fixing and fixing and fixing. At some point, just deciding you've done enough. And on a collective scale, we have done enough. That's why now you get a choice to choose. Do I want to turn my dial and shift and focus forward? Where is the focus? Are you focusing on the past? Or are you focusing on forward, what you want? And I invite you to focus forward. And then in doing that, take small intentional steps every day to help ground your energy, to release emotions that don't serve you, to release people and things that don't serve you. And, sometimes affirmations remind us of our worth, but with that even being said, if you don't embody the affirmation, or something you don't believe, you're wasting your time to try to even memorize a affirmation. So pay attention to how you feel in this process of taking little steps and strides forward, and keep changing your dial to focusing forward. And to know that that's where you're going to make the change. A lot of times we're still trying to focus on the past, fix the past, because fixing yourself for not being good enough to be this version of your forward future version, that is saying that's keeping you stuck where you are, because it's saying you're not good enough to where you have been in the past. And you're still focusing on the past and the past version of yourself. But when you align your vision away from the problem, so to speak, and not even on the solution, but on the fact that you're going to put your focus on the person that you are, that is love, and what does that person need, and you show up for that person. Now you're aligning yourself with love. And not because you're finished healing, but because you're available to receive the love and the healing from yourself through the love of yourself. Now, you might want to pause this, rewind, and listen to that again. I can think back and remember the moment whenever I really adopted this truth for myself, when it really sank in and I truly embodied it. And it really, when I came to own it and I came to feel it, I stopped waiting to be perfect. And I allowed myself to be loved as I was, because I was loving my own self in the messy, imperfection, still healing version of myself that I saw that was perfect as I was. And that, again, I felt the healing just from being like, well, I can be okay with where I'm at. And accepting myself was the healing I needed, that actually dissolved all of the idea that I had to be perfect, or that I had to continue digging to fix something in myself, that I wasn't enough how I am or who I am. And what I discovered out of that is that I wasn't waiting on love anymore of the other side of the healing, because I was loving myself in the healing. I was loving myself as I was. And the very thing that I thought that I had to earn was actually the medicine that brought me deeper into my own wholeness, to collect the parts of me that I was separating from because I thought they weren't good enough or perfect enough or needed more healing. If you were to take anything away from today, let it be this: that you don't have to wait another day to feel worthy of love. And you don't have to chase perfection, because you are perfect as you are. And you don't have to earn the love, because love is here for you right now. And the obsession you've had over these thoughts and these ideas of trying to fix yourself might feel like a curse. But know that that can also be the catalyst for you that helps you align with that true self, your true higher version of you, that is that future version that can have love here now. And when you step into that, you're going to attract the love you're desiring that's going to come in and match and align with you there and be accepting of you, because you're already whole and complete in that version of you. And if you're ready to go deeper, I want to invite you into my newest book, Twin Flame Obsession. This book is your guide to breaking free of the madness of obsession and realizing that you don't have to be fully healed to be loved. I share many raw, real stories. And those of you that want the updates to who I am and what I've been going through over the last few years, lots of stories are there that you can learn from. But you're going to discover how to shift your energy so you can reclaim your power and allow the love in right where you are, right here, right now. So you'll find the link in the description below and above in order to get your copy today. And before you go, I would love to hear from you. What is one belief about healing and love that you're ready to release today? So drop that in the comments. I'd love to connect with you right here. And remember, you don't have to be perfect to be loved. And you're worthy right now. I'll see you in the next video. Much love.
Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side.